Yeah, a couple of things I wanted to. I sent you an email about, since you've done this a lot longer than I've done this, jacking with the insurance paperwork, we've been able to get some pretty good supplements and getting some extra money for ACV money.
Yeah.
Have you run into a situation, we had this happen on one that I can think of offhand, is where we built the ACV money up enough that would basically cover the deductible.
Yeah.
But the insurance company said, well, no, we're not going to release the depreciation on the roof because you still have all this other stuff to do, and you haven't paid your $2,000 or whatever it was deductible, or you have so much other stuff you need to finish before we're going to release the depreciation on your roof.
Okay,
Have you run into that?
Well, what you have to do when you send in it, okay, so I'm going to try to show you an example. So what happens is, I'll try to use simple numbers. Let's say that you've got $10,000 RCV, okay? And they're holding, let's say that they paid $5,000 up front ACV. Remember that the ACV money, that $5,000 covers ACV for everything. The parts of the roof, parts of the gutters, whatever it is that they're holding back. Okay, so then the next part is, let's say that they're holding $4,000 in depreciation and there's a $1,000 deductible, okay? So $4,000 in depreciation, I'm writing this down so I can show you to make it visual, but if you guys do, let's just say that the total amount for the roof, according to the insurance paperwork, came to $7,000, okay?
Right.
So roof came to $7,000. That means that the remainder of the claim, $3,000 of it was for miscellaneous items, and $2,000 of that would be owed by the insurance company because they basically have already paid. They're not counting the deductible. So $2,000 owed in miscellaneous ACV stuff. So the thing is, the way that you have to look at it, and hopefully I do this without confusing myself and you, so I'll do my best. You might have to bear with me, is when we're looking at this money here, this is already paid. So anything ACV is contained in this first check. So what you have to do is you're billing for above and beyond just the roof. So if you were to send in an invoice that just said $7,000, they're going to say, well, we already paid $5,000. So what you have to do is you have to include just the depreciation from the roof with what's already been paid. Does that make sense? So
so you're going to basically invoice for what? So with the you're going to invoice for the roof amount and then the ACV on the other things that they should have already paid.
Yes, you have to include that in the invoice. And we made this mistake a bunch of times when we first got started. We're like, whoa, like we're supposed, the homeowner's supposed to be getting this money back, right? Because the homeowner is owed the ACV regardless of if they do the work or not, because that's the actual cash value of the items lost. So the insurance company doesn't owe the depreciation on those items. But when you final invoice, you have to include the ACV that's already paid. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's what's for some reason I'm getting better with the insurance paperwork, but some of it, and everybody's, they're all different. And so you look at one, you're like, okay, I got it. And then you look at another one, it's like, holy crap, it just changed every freaking, everything's gone somewhere else.
Yeah.
So, but no, that makes complete sense. So you're going to basically invoice for the ACV on everything else.
Yep.
Not the depreciation on it.
Right.
And the whole full value of the roof.
Exactly. So anything ACV, you include that in the final invoice as part of the final invoice.
Right.
Then you're basically only going to be asking for depreciation on the roof. So whatever is left at the roof, you want to include the O&P and material taxes and things like that. But it might be simpler even if you look at all the paperwork and you simply say, I'm just deducting the depreciation that says is owed on the items that we didn't do from the overall total, instead of looking at it as billing for the ACV, because that makes it confusing and backwards.
No, that makes complete. I mean, light bulb came on. It's like great, because that's what I've been running into. And it's like, okay, well, we can't do it. We just have to do it. We have to invoice just a roof, but there's this other money, but we're not going to do that work on the gutters. And so, wait a minute, now we can't get the depreciation on it. So yeah, that makes a ton of sense.
Perfect.
So awesome.
Okay, good.
that was probably the best. Yeah, that's probably the best thing anybody's told me in forever to explain how to do that. Because it's like, because we're looking at just the roof amount and say, okay, that's what we have to do the job for. And then there's other ACV money out here. Like I said, what happened on that one, we put into billing.
Yeah.
And they said, well, you haven't done the rest of this stuff, so we're not going to even release, in essence, we're not going to release the ACV on it.
Right.
So I got you. Okay, cool. Well, that fixes a big piece of my question there.